December 12, 2025, Eastern Caribbean Sea, 05:15 local time, just before sunrise. A surface search radar aboard a U.S. Coast Guard cutter registers a faint return along a north-northwest bearing. The contact is small, low profile, and moving at approximately 32 knots. There is no automatic identification system signal. No navigation lights are observed. The track originates from waters commonly associated with outbound trafficking routes along the Venezuelan coast. The cutter maintains radio silence while the Combat Information Center refines the plot and updates range and bearing in real time. The primary problem is not the contact itself. The problem is the mismatch between the radar picture forming on the screens and the intelligence summary briefed hours earlier. According to the last update, no departures were expected in this sector during the pre-dawn window. Yet the contact is closing distance on a trajectory that aligns with known transit lanes through the Caribbean. Why is a fast mover leaving the coast at this hour? Why does its course remain steady despite open water ahead? And why does the speed profile not match routine fishing or local traffic patterns? As the cutter holds course, the radar return stabilizes and the operational picture begins to shift in ways not accounted for in the original plan. The situation snapshot comes into focus as the cutter continues on its assigned patrol track in the Eastern Caribbean, operating under a joint counter-narcotics mandate. On deck and below, the crew is configured for interdiction operations rather than routine presence patrol. The cutter is supported by an embarked MH-60 helicopter, secured aft, and a rigid hull inflatable boat, staged and ready for launch if required. All assets remain darkened, with external lighting minimized to preserve night adaptation and limit visual detection. The suspected opposing element is assessed as a trafficking organization operating out of northern Venezuela, known for using small, high-speed vessels to move narcotics northward through open water gaps. These groups typically rely on speed, low profiles, and limited electronic signatures rather than concealment or deception. Initial intelligence suggested any movement would occur farther west and later in the morning, which now appears inconsistent with the live operational picture. From an elevated vantage near the bridge wing, the embedded reporter observes a controlled environment. Displays update quietly. Bearings are called out in measured tones. The discrepancy between expectation and observation is noted, but not debated. At this stage, the facts on the screen take priority over the assumptions made hours earlier. The intercept begins as the cutter adjusts heading by several degrees to place the radar contact just off the starboard bow. Speed increases gradually, measured and deliberate, keeping the distance stable while confirming the track. The contact continues northbound at a steady rate, holding just above 30 knots, neither accelerating nor deviating. Range closes from several nautical miles to just under 4, enough for classification, but still outside visual range. Inside the operations center, the surface plot updates every few seconds. Bearing drift remains minimal. The contact's course cuts cleanly across open water rather than hugging the coast, a pattern consistent with transit rather than local movement. The cutter's engines maintain a constant hum, audible through the deck plates, as the ship settles into an intercept geometry designed to limit escape options without provoking a reaction too early. Environmental conditions remain stable. Sea state is moderate, with long, low swells rolling in from the east. Wind speed is light, and visibility is restricted only by the absence of daylight. The air temperature sits in the low 70s Fahrenheit. From the bridge, no running lights are visible ahead. The horizon remains unbroken, except for the faint glow of dawn beginning to form behind the cutter's stern. No hail is issued at this stage. No warnings are transmitted. The cutter holds its approach, allowing time and distance to clarify intent before committing additional assets. Escalation begins when the radar contact alters behavior without warning. Speed increases by several knots, pushing beyond the earlier steady profile. The course shifts west by a narrow margin, just enough to register as an intentional change rather than sea drift. Within moments, the return intermittently weakens, consistent with a vessel riding harder over the swells to maximize speed. Navigation lights remain off. No radio traffic is detected on monitored channels. The cutter responds by tightening the intercept geometry. Heading is adjusted to maintain lateral control rather than direct pursuit, a posture designed to limit the contact's maneuvering space. The distance continues to close, now measured in a few nautical miles. The operations center authorizes the deployment sequence. The flight deck crew moves without verbal commands as the MH-60 is brought to readiness. Rotor blades begin to turn, their sound carried aft and then lost into the wind. Below, the rigid hull inflatable boat crew shifts from standby to immediate launch posture. Safety checks are completed in sequence. Lines are cleared. The cutter maintains speed to provide a stable launch window if required. No warning shots are prepared at this stage. No hailing call is transmitted. The objective remains identification and compliance, not provocation. The logic is procedural. Airborne observation reduces risk to surface assets. Holding fire preserves escalation control. Every action is measured against distance, speed, and the narrowing margin for response as the contact continues its run into open Caribbean waters. The close call unfolds as the MH-60 lifts clear of the flight deck and moves forward along the cutter's starboard side, climbing to a low operational altitude. Within moments, the helicopter establishes visual contact. A narrow beam of light sweeps across the water, briefly illuminating a small, go-fast vessel riding low and throwing a white wake behind it. The range drops rapidly, measured now in hundreds of yards rather than miles. The helicopter crew initiates the first hailing call over loudspeaker, identifying U.S. Coast Guard presence and issuing a clear order to stop engines. The vessel does not comply. Instead, its bow rises slightly as throttle is increased again, pushing speed higher despite the growing sea state. The turn radius tightens, and the vessel crosses its own wake. a maneuver that briefly destabilizes its track. From the cutter, the rigid hull inflatable boat is lowered to the water. The launch is timed between swells, lines released cleanly as the small craft powers away. The distance between all three elements compresses into a confined operating area. The helicopter deploys a warning flare ahead of the vessel's projected path. The flare impacts the water and burns bright, marking a clear boundary. The vessel reacts abruptly. Throttle is reduced. The bow settles. Speed drops within seconds from full run to idle. The margin between continued flight and loss of control narrows to a few boat lengths. The risk of collision or capsize passes without incident as the vessel steadies in the water. The resolution is immediate and procedural. With the vessel now dead in the water, the rigid hull inflatable boat closes the remaining distance and comes alongside on the port quarter. Coast Guard boarding personnel secure the craft and issue compliance instructions. The individuals aboard follow directions without resistance. The go-fast vessel is inspected on scene, while the helicopter maintains overhead observation. Several tightly wrapped bales are visible in the open hull area, stacked forward of the engine compartment and secured with netting. The packaging and placement are consistent with narcotics transport rather than fishing or cargo operations. The crew conducts a safety sweep first, checking fuel lines, engine condition, and stability before handling any material. Once the vessel is declared safe, the bales are counted and documented. Preliminary assessment indicates a significant quantity of suspected cocaine, measured in hundreds of pounds rather than small personal loads. The detained individuals are transferred under guard. The vessel is brought under control for follow-on processing. No injuries are observed. No damage is reported to Coast Guard assets. The cutter reduces speed and re-establishes a stable operating posture as the scene is secured and logged. The field report closes as daylight begins to spread across the eastern Caribbean, and the cutter resumes a steady patrol speed. The seized vessel remains secured alongside under supervision, and the helicopter recovers to the flight deck without incident. All movements and actions from initial detection to interdiction are logged for follow-on review. The operation concludes without casualties or equipment loss, reinforcing the narrow margins that define interdiction work along these routes, where timing, distance, and procedure determine outcomes long before intent is fully understood.